So today we're going to talk about some boots I picked up in December, but first let's talk about this boot dryer. First thing you'll notice about it is it's kind of yellowish in color. This thing was actually white when I bought it. I've had this thing forever. It's a Pete boot dryer. I highly recommend this Pete boot dryer. I'm sure their newer models are probably just as good. This thing does not owe me a cent. It could break tomorrow and it was well worth its money. I don't think it's going to break tomorrow, and I hope it doesn't. It's been great. I'm probably going to pick up another one so that I have more than one of them. Really, you should be using some sort of boot dryer to dry your boots. Drying them by the wood stove is not really good for your boots. And some other ways that people dry boots or have to dry boots is not really good for them. All right. Let's talk about one other thing, a product I've started using. I've used it in the past a couple times, but I've really started to use it now, is Olanov's Heavy Duty LP. I don't like to do a lot of maintenance to my boots. I like to just, use them. But you should do a little bit of maintenance, especially when you have leather. Condition them every once in a while, and this stuff really does the trick. So there's that. So I picked up some winter boots back in December, but these are the ones I've had, and these boots are great. These are Predator Extremes. They're made by Cabela's. If you're looking for a real warm, nice winter pack boot, these are the boots. Excellent warranty, and if your feet get cold in these, even when the temperature is below zero, then you're probably already dead. But part of the reason why I picked some other boots up was because those are too warm a lot of times, especially when you're actually working. I picked up these Iron Ridge boots, which are also by Cabela's. They're a hunting boot, but so far from what I've seen, they make an excellent work boot. I've been using them for over a month now, and like on a regular basis. And the great thing was when I bought them, they were just under 80 bucks, 79, 97. Now they're 120, but I would still tell you that I think they're worth buying at this point. I am going to do another look back at them in a year, and I think I'm going to be telling you, yeah, go get them, even then. But that's my thing about boots. I like them, boots, shoes, sneakers. If they don't last me a year, then other than some unforeseen accident, if they can't hold up for that period of time, then I don't think they're worth it. That's one of my criteria about boots. Let's talk about some things that maybe I wouldn't like about these boots, or I kind of don't like about them, but they're not deal breakers. One thing is that they fit a little snug, and when I say they fit a little snug, they fit a little snug. They don't run a size small or a half a size small. They just fit a little snug. They're a little narrow, so you'll notice that they take a little bit of time to break in. The break-in periods are very short, so keep that in mind. And the next thing I'll talk about is the height of them, and that's not such a big deal at all either. It's kind of a preference, and it's also, I like a taller boot because of snow and such, to keep the snow out, but you can use gaiters. Some people don't like tall boots because they bother them, they ride up that far on them. I kind of like them, and that's almost like a different boot if you start adding a height to them. I got these in a 400 gram insulation model. They also come in an 800, which most people I'd recommend they go with the 800, but I wanted something light, and I'm very active when I'm in them. But yet at the same time, I bought these when I was working on a land clearing job, and I'm the guy outside kind of cutting trees, dragging brush, that kind of thing. I'm not in the machine, and incidentally the machine that was on that job site at that time was an open cab anyway. So he wasn't really out of the weather either, the operator. But, you know, I'm out there for 6 to 8 hours a day sometimes, so, you know, I want a boot that's going to work. And these definitely do the trick. The other thing that I like about these boots is the bob sole. This is the first time I've actually used a boot with a bob sole. I'm usually using the traditional, for the most part, the traditional Vibram sole with that like clover leaf type pattern on the bottom of them. These things have pretty darn good traction on them. I think the actual tread pattern actually gives you more traction than on certain surfaces than the Vibram sole that I'm used to. These are they have the Gore-Tex waterproofing in them, membrane, just kind of like same thing as the Predator Extremes as far as it's not in the leather, which is another pet peeve of mine. If you've got waterproof leather, I don't really think you have waterproof boots because it's in the leather itself, and it's usually because it's, you know, it's got seal on it and it doesn't last. You have to keep sealing it, you know, keep the oil up, but at the same time you should keep your boots somewhat oiled anyway. You don't want them to dry out. And speaking of waterproof boots, as opposed to water repellent boots, one good way to tell that your boots are actually waterproof, because some people their feet will sweat in their boot, and they mistake that as being that the boot's not waterproof. Well, it's not that, it's that their feet are sweating. A real quick and easy way to do it is to take a pan of water and then take your boot and actually submerge part of your boot in the pan of water. Obviously you don't want to submerge it up past the part of the boot where it's waterproof to, and that will tell you, you know, whether the water's leaking in or not. That being said, these tongues do not separate until you get near the top. So that is a good thing about them, because a lot of boots, obviously they're only waterproof to where the tongue separates. So if you have a tongue that separates way down here, then that's your level of waterproofness. You know, I like it because if you accidentally step in a stream or a big puddle or something like that, you know, as long as it's not that deep, then you know, you're covered. Whereas with some other boots, that's not the case. Just wanted to shoot a video about that. These boots, I think at this point, I recommend you buy them. They're 119 something right now. I got them for the 80 back in December, 79, 97. But even at the higher price, I highly recommend these boots at this point. And I'll be checking back within a year. And I suspect I'll be saying the same thing, but just in case they don't hold up as I expect them to, then I will definitely say something. And also keep in mind that Cabela's has a great warranty on their own products. They've been a little tighter about how they accept returns and what they'll accept, and I think that's because people are kind of taking advantage of their warranty in a way that they shouldn't be. So I think they've gotten a little stricter about it, but they still do a good job of taking care of you. And so that's what I had for you for today.